I had the absolute largest argument with my parents of all time. And it was because I told my wife to leave while I was arguing with my parents over her religion. They don't agree with it at all, and I tried to tell them, hey, listen, I understand you guys are very strict with your religion, but can you please be a little open-minded towards my wife, or soon-to-be wife, I should say. They told me no. So I had to kick my girlfriend out of our home so my parents could cool down, and now my girlfriend's telling me that I was in the wrong, and guys, I was just trying to be the peacekeeper, I swear. And you know what? I'm going to share with you guys every single update. 31 male. I know the title sounds bad, but please hear me out. I'm genuinely lost here and need outside perspective because my whole life has fallen to pieces, you know. So a bit of background. I've been with my wife Marisol for 5 years, married for just over a year. She's amazing, smart, funny, passionate about her work, graphic designer. The thing is, she practices a different religion than me. She practices Hellenic polytheism. Yeah, like the ancient Greek gods. She has like altars in our house for Aphrodite and whatnot, and she does food offerings. She celebrates festivals, the whole thing. Well, before anybody asks, no, it's not a phase or aesthetic thing. She's been practicing since college, and it's genuine religious belief for her. I was raised hardcore Christian. My parents, Victor and Dawn, they're the type who have the Bible verses on every wall and start every conversation with, oh, bless this day. I'm less devout. I still go to church with them, don't get me wrong, sometimes to keep the peace, but honestly, I'm more agnostic these days. I've never had an issue with Marisol's religion. It made her happy. She never pushed it on me, and honestly, the candles, they smell pretty nice. My parents, on the other hand, look, they knew about her beliefs before we got married, and I was upfront about it. They said they would pray for her soul, but otherwise seemed to accept it, except they would make these comments that were supposedly jokes but did not feel like jokes. Guess the gods are watching us eat dinner when they came over. Or my dad asking if our bread was blessed by Zeus, with this smirk on his face, and Marisol would just smile tightly and change the subject. I would nervously laugh, because I'm apparently a coward who can't tell his parents to knock it off. Yeah, I'll get into that. Anyways, here's where everything went to hell. No pun intended, of course. In April, my dad lost his job. He's been at the same company for 15 years, and they downsized. Well, 2 weeks later, they got an eviction notice because they'd apparently been behind on rent already. My mother calls me crying. What was I supposed to do? They're my parents. So I talked to Marisol, and we agreed they could stay with us for a month or two while they get back on their feet. She wasn't thrilled, but she said they're family. We help family. Gosh, she was trying so hard to be supportive, even though I could see the worry in her eyes. They moved in early May. It's now September, and I'm writing this at 2 a.m. because I can't sleep. At first it was okay, awkward, but manageable. My mother helped with groceries and cooking, and my dad mowed the lawn and fixed some stuff around the house. They mostly kept to themselves in the guest room, and Marisol moved her main altar from the living room to our bedroom to avoid tension. I should have seen that as the first red flag, but I was just relieved everybody was getting along. Then the little thing started. My mom would dust Marisol's altar, and somehow things would get rearranged. The offering bowls would mysteriously need to be washed right when Marisol was about to use them. Food offerings would just disappear. Oh, I thought the fruit was going bad, so I threw it out. You don't want fruit flies in the house. My dad started saying he was praying for Marisol every night, but not in a kind way. In that way where it's clear he thinks she needs help. He would make comments about, when you have kids, you'll raise them right, boy, I know it. Won't you, son? Right in front of her. Marisol tried to talk to me about it multiple times. She would say, Julian, can you please ask them to stop touching my altar? Your dad's comments are getting really hurtful. Each time I'd say, I'd handle it, babe. And I would try. Sort of. I would make vague comments to my parents like, hey, maybe leave Marisol's stuff alone, but I never really pushed when they brushed me off. My mother's response was always some version of, I'm just trying to help, or if it's not of God, it has no place in this house. When I reminded her it was our house, she hit me with, "You're my son. I raised you in his light. I'm just concerned for your eternal soul." And I would cave every single time. I kept telling Marisol I was handling it, babe, and just to be patient, they would be gone soon. She starts spending more time at her friend Clara's place, and I told myself it was just to give everyone space. Well, then came the holy water incident. I came home from work to find Marisol in our bedroom, shaking with rage. Apparently, my mom had gone into our room while we were both at work and sprinkled holy water on our bed, our closet, and specifically on Mariol's altar. She'd also left a crucifix on Marisol's pillow. When I confronted my mom, she said she was protecting us from demons, and that she could not stand by while Satan had a foothold on her son's home. She wasn't even apologetic, she was proud of it. Marisol demands an apology, and my parents refused. My dad actually said that she should be thanking them for caring about our soul. I told my mom she'd crossed a line, but, well, I hate myself for it. I didn't even yell at her. I didn't demand they apologize, I just said, "Please don't do it again." Like she borrowed something without asking instead of violating our privacy and disrespecting my wife's religion. That night, Marisol said something that still haunts me. "Your whispers about boundaries prove you're really protecting, and it's not me. You're protecting your parents, not me." After that, the house was Arctic. Marisol would only speak to my parents when absolutely necessary. She starts eating dinner in our room. My parents acted like they were the victims, with my mother sighing dramatically whenever Marisol walked by without greeting her. In July, Marisol was supposed to celebrate Aphrodite or something, one of her big festivals. She's been planning it for weeks. Had taken off the day from work, bought special wine and figs for the offering, and that morning my parents suddenly had an emergency. Their storage unit was supposedly flooding, and they desperately needed Marisol to drive them, because my dad's back was acting up and my mom doesn't drive. I was already at work. Marisol called me frustrated, saying she thought that they were lying. I said, "Just help them out this once. You can do your ritual later." She missed her entire celebration dealing with their false emergency, and the storage unit wasn't even wet. They just needed to check on some photos. She didn't speak to any of us for 3 days after that, and 2 weeks ago, everything exploded. Marisol had rescheduled her celebration and invited Clara and her other friend Tessa to do it with her. They were in the living room, candles lit, some Greek music playing softly, offerings laid out. It was peaceful, beautiful even. My parents came home from church early. I was in the kitchen when I heard my mom gasp and say, "What is this demonic nonsense?" And my dad's voice boomed, "Not in my home!" I rushed in to find Marisol standing up, fist clenched. She said, "It's my house." My mother starts going on about inviting evil spirits, and my dad was saying Marisol was dragging me to hell and corrupting their son. Clara and Tessa looked absolutely mortified. Marisol was trying to defend herself, but my parents kept talking over her, getting louder and louder. And I froze. I stood there in the doorway like an idiot while the woman I married fought alone against my parents' attack. And when I finally unfroze, do you know what I said? Do you know? Do you really want to know what brilliant thing came out of my mouth? I said, "Marisol, please just go cool off somewhere." Ugh, you don't want to say that to your woman. The look on her face, gosh, I can't stop seeing it. This mix of shock, hurt, and then just emptiness. Like she finally saw exactly who I was. She said, "You're telling me to leave my own home?" I stammered something about just until everyone calms down, but she was already grabbing her keys. Clara and Tessa quickly blew out the candles and followed her out. The door slammed so hard a picture fell off the wall. My parents immediately start talking about how relieved they were and how that girl holds on you is finally breaking. I didn't say a word. I just stood there, staring at the offerings on the floor that my mother was already moving to throw in the trash, and felt something in my chest crack. That was exactly 4 days ago. Marisol has not came home. She texted me once, "You chose them." I've sent probably 50 texts apologizing, explaining, and even begging her to come home so we can talk. Nothing. I know I messed up, but was I really that wrong? I was trying to keep peace in an impossible situation, and I couldn't just throw my parents out when they had nowhere to go. But I love my wife, and I don't know how to fix this. Am I the a-hole? Update number 1. Am I the a-hole for asking my wife to leave during an argument with my parents? Part 2. It's been exactly a week since my original post. I wanted to thank everybody who responded, even the harsh ones. Especially the harsh ones. I needed to hear it. First, yes, I told my parents they needed to leave. The morning after I posted, I sat them down and said that they had to find somewhere else to live. My mom immediately started crying. My dad's face went red and he accused me of choosing that woman over your own blood? I said, she's my wife. I chose her when I married her. It was the first time I'd actually raised my voice at them in what? Ever? My dad said I was betraying family, and my mother kept saying I would regret this when Judgment Day comes. But I held firm, told them they had a week to figure something out. That felt like progress for about 5 minutes, and then I went to clean up the living room from Marisol's interrupted ritual, and found one of her offering bowls in the trash. It was cracked down the middle in this beautiful ceramic bowl that she bought on our honeymoon in Greece. My parents had broken it and thrown it away like it was garbage. I texted her a photo of it with, I'm sorry. I threw them out. She responded, you didn't, they did, and you let them. She's not wrong. For months I let them chip away at her, at us, and I called it keeping the peace. What peace? Whose peace? Not her peace. My parents spent the next few days making my life absolutely miserable. Every morning my mother would make some comment about the devil winning, and how she's praying for my soul since nobody else will. My dad stopped speaking to me entirely except to grunt when I passed by. They made no effort to pack or look for places. By day 3, I had to threaten to formally evict them before they started making calls. Turns out, they had plenty of options, church friends who offered spare rooms. My sister, she lives 2 hours away, they've just been refusing to consider them because they were comfortable here. The entitlement still blows my mind. Meanwhile, I was trying to salvage my marriage via text like an idiot. I sent Marisol long apologies, winded, explanations about growing up with them and how hard it is to stand up to them, promises to change. She finally responds with, well, are you ready for this, guys? Julian, you watched them disrespect me for months. You made me move my altar and my home to avoid tension. You told me to be patient while they called my religion demonic. You asked me to miss my holy day for a fake emergency, and when they attacked me in front of my friends, you told me to leave. Stop thinking apologies undo years of silence. Years. She said years. Because it wasn't just 5 months, was it? Every Christmas where they would make snide comments about pagan holidays, every dinner where they would passively aggressive pray for those who've lost their way, every time I laughed nervously instead of defending her. My sister called me yesterday to tell me our parents are staying with her now and that they've been telling everyone in the family that I've turned my back on God, and I'm under the influence of a witch. My Uncle Reese actually called to pray with me over the phone. My cousin posted on Facebook about the spiritual warfare happening in our family. It's humiliating. The worst parts, my boss overheard one of my dad's phone rants when he called me at work. My dad was yelling about rituals loud enough that half the office heard. Now everyone's looking at me like I'm a weirdo. And Janet from HR asked, is everything okay at home? I blocked my parents' numbers yesterday. For the first time in my life, I did it. The house feels empty but not peaceful, just heavy with everything that happened here. I moved back to sleeping on the couch because our bedroom still smells faintly of the holy water my mother dumped everywhere. Marisol is staying with Clara, and I know that because I drove by Clara's apartment. Not like watching it, well, just, okay, maybe a little watching, and saw her car. I left flowers on the windshield with a note, probably stupid, but I didn't know what else to do. She texted me this morning, I need time to think, stop driving by Clara's. At least she's talking to me, sort of. I've started therapy. First appointment was yesterday, and when I explained the situation, my therapist asked me, why do you think you prioritize your parents' comfort over your wife's safety? Safety? Not comfort, safety? Because that's what it is, wasn't it? My wife didn't feel safe in her own home. I don't know if Marisol will come back. I don't know if I deserve her back. All I know is that I let my parents traumatize the woman I love because I was too scared to be the bad guy. Turns out I became the bad guy anyways, just to the wrong person. Guys, I'll update you again if anything dramatic happens, but for now, I'm alone. In a house full of ghosts, alone, holding a cracked offering bowl I can't bring myself to throw away, wondering how somebody can grow up in a religion all about love and learn only how to hurt people with it. Final updates. Am I the a-hole for asking my wife to leave during an argument with my parents? Part 3. It's been 2 months since everything just fell apart. This will be my last update on this because, well, there's nothing left to talk about. My parents have been living with a church friend named Patricia, who apparently thinks they're martyrs for Christ or something. Dawn tells me they've completely rewritten the story. Now I'm possessed by lust and false gods, and Marisol is basically evil, a person who seduced me away from salvation. And they tried to save me, but were cast out of their own faith. The whole church is praying for my soul. Someone even mailed me holy water, and I threw it out unopened. Marisol came by the house last week. First time I'd seen her since that night. She looked good, she looked calm. That particular kind of calm people have when they've moved past arguing, past anger, and past disappointment. They're just done. She came to get her things, all of it. The altars, her books, her grandmother's tea set, the throw pillow that she loved with the bad embroidery. I tried to talk to her while she packed. Told her about therapy, about blocking my parent, and about how the house feels wrong without her. She stopped packing for a moment and said, "Julian, I begged you for months. I made myself smaller and smaller in my own home, and you only listened when I was already gone. I can't live my life waiting for you to pick me second again." "You weren't second," I started to say, but she cuts me off. She said, "No, I was always second. Every single time you chose their comfort over my dignity, I was second. When you told me to hide my stuff, I was second. When you let me call my faith all sorts of names, I was second. When you literally told me to leave my own home rather than tell them to stop, I was second, Julian. Was I first?" She was right, every word of it. The only thing she left behind was our wedding photo. Face down on the dresser, I haven't even moved it. A few days after she came for her things, I texted her asking if she would consider couples counseling, and her response was the last thing she's ever said to me. "You never told your parents no until I was gone. I can't trust you to choose me before it's too late again. I won't live my life waiting to see which way you'll fold." Then she blocked me. I found out through Tessa that she took a job 2 states away, senior design position, big raise, fresh starts. Clara helped her move. I even saw on Instagram she posted with some guy. They posted pictures on Instagram of their road trip, and Marisol was smiling in a way I haven't seen in months, maybe longer. My mother sent me a prayer card in the mail last week with a note saying, "Maybe this will help you find your way back." Didn't even open it, just straight into the bin. The house is so quiet now. I keep the couch because I still can't sleep in our marital bed. Every time I pass the corner where her altar used to be, there's this indent in the carpet that won't go away no matter how much I vacuum. I haven't been to church since my parents left, haven't prayed, no. Sometimes I catch myself wondering what Marisol would say about that. If my parents' God pushed me away from faith the same way they pushed her away from me. The irony is not lost on me. I still have that cracked offering bowl. Can't seem to throw it away. Can't fix it, just sits on the kitchen counter like some kind of monument to my cowardice. My therapist says I'm holding on to it because I'm not ready to accept that some things can't be repaired, that sometimes the damage is the ending. I don't know if I lost my wife to religion, to my parents, or to my own spinelessness, but I know that when it matters the most, I told the person I promised to love and protect to leave. And she did. She did exactly what I asked her to do, and I'm the one who has to live with that now. To everybody who told me I was the a-hole, you know what? You're right. To everyone who said she deserves better, you're right, she did, and now she's free to find it. And to anyone reading this who's letting their family disrespect their partner while you're just keeping the peace, there is no peace, man. You're just choosing who gets to be comfortable and who has to suffer. Choose wisely. Choose before it's too late, because once they leave, once you actually tell them to leave, they might just listen. Today's story was super interesting. I would like to review 2 comments before we talk about it and get your opinion on today's story. The first comment, as usual, is against OP. It says, "Dude, I'm going to be brutally honest. You're getting way too much sympathy in these comments for being pathetic. You're a mama's boy. You destroyed your own marriage. You watched your parents psychologically mess with your wife for 5 months and did absolutely nothing until the internet shamed you into action. The holy water incident alone should have resulted in you physically removing them from your house that same day. But instead, you whispered, "Please don't do it again," like a coward. You literally prioritized your bigoted parents' comfort over your wife's basic human dignity and right to practice her religion in her own home. The fact that you're here crying about a broken bowl when you broke your wife's spirit every day you let them stay is honestly disgusting. Stop playing the victim with your "oh, this house is so quiet" nonsense. You chose this by being spineless. Your parents did not destroy your marriage, you did, by being their enabler and accomplice. Your wife did not leave because of religion. She left because she showed you that she'll never be your priority, that you'll always fold under pressure, and that your word means nothing. You had years to establish boundaries with your parents, and instead you laughed along with their jokes like a coward. The saddest part is you're in therapy now, acting like you've grown when the damage is already done and irreplaceable. Too little, too late, my guy. Your ex-wife is thriving without you, and well deserves somebody who would have shut that discrimination down on day one. I hope the new guy she's taking pictures with will. Anyways, after 5 long months, it's finally over. So guys, there's a lot of people that actually were defending OP, but there was a majority of people that said, you know what, you let this go on for too long. I would be interested to hear your opinion on the story, but here is comment 2, which does support OP, but is still critical on him. It says this: "Look, everyone's destroying you in the comments, and while you absolutely failed your wife, I think people are ignoring how insidiously religion manipulates works and families like yours. You were raised from birth to never question your parents, to see their word as basically God's word, if you put it that way, and breaking that program is harder than people even realize. That doesn't excuse what you did, but I get how you froze like a deer in the headlights when caught between your wife and, well, people who programmed your entire worldview. The problem is you had 5 years before they moved in to start establishing these boundaries, to practice standing up to them, to show Marisol she's the priority. Instead, you took the coward's route, I'll call it, of nervous laughter and keeping the peace, which was really just enabling their bigotry. When they moved in, you should have had ironclad rules from day one, but you were still that scared little boy who couldn't disappoint mommy and daddy. The holy water incident should have been your wake-up call. I agree with the other comment. That's assault, dude. It's assault, and it's on your wife's religious practice, and it's a violation of her peace. But even after everything, you still tried to play both sides instead of protecting the woman you vowed to cherish above all others through sickness and health. Yeah, your parents are manipulative, religious extremists, but you're a grown man who chose compliance over courage. I hope this haunts you enough that if you ever find love again, you'll remember what happens when you don't protect it. Your wife deserves a better partner, not a mediator, man, and now she's free to find someone who will choose her first, not after the internet shames him. Anyways, good luck, I guess. Guys, it seems both comments were really critical of OP. I would like to see your perspective and your point of view about what you would have done if you find yourself in OP's shoes. So drop a comment down below, leave a hype on this video, leave a like, go ahead, subscribe. I'll see you guys tomorrow. We have a very, very interesting story tomorrow, and there's going to be a new revenge story on Mr. Reddito's Revenge channel, which you can find down below in the description. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a great day, and of course, remember, it's cool to be kind. See ya.